I can edit my Google form at any time by clicking on the Google form and going back into it. I can change the title. I can change the description. I can add an item. Going down the bottom here, clicking on add an item, writing another question in there, for example. If I want to edit a question, let's say this question here, overall, how useful is this session on Google Docs been for you? I'd click on the pencil icon. I could change the text that was in there. I could insert some text in there. I could add to the scale, so I could go up to 6 instead of only up to 5. I could even delete the question altogether by hitting this delete button here and get rid of that question if I didn't think it was appropriate anymore. The other thing I can do is what happens to the responses. If I go up to this responsive button at the top here, hope you can see that, and click on that. And if I go to change response destination, then I can actually alter where the information goes to. I can have it as a new sheet in an existing spreadsheet. I can go to a new sheet. I can give it a new title. So for instance, sorry to keep on choosing maths, I don't mean to, but let's say that we've got some mathematical problems that you are choosing for year 8. Then they go away for the summer holiday, they're now back in year 9, and you want to see whether they can remember what they learned last year with you this year, but this time they're in year 9. Maybe you want to add a few more difficult questions because obviously they're sort of more able now being in year 9 compared to in year 8. You could add some extra questions on the bottom, then you could compare the results from this year with the results from last year and actually see what progress they've made during the year as well. Let's say that you wanted to insert them in a new sheet in an existing spreadsheet. That is, the spreadsheet already exists within Google Documents and you want to add this onto a page within that spreadsheet. What you choose is this radio button here. Can you keep an eye on where it says create there, and you should see that that will change to choose. We're going to click on that. It's gone to choose. We're going to choose which spreadsheet we now wish these new responses to go into, and these are all the spreadsheets that I've got on my Google Drive. And what I'm able to do is I'm able to say, well, that's the one that I want it to go in. So for instance, I could choose the timetable, which I think I've shared with you all, and what that would do is it would populate a new tab within that spreadsheet. Hopefully you know that at the bottom of the screen there'll be a series of tabs, be a new tab in there. You click on that to be able to get the responses back from whoever's answering these questions. Finally, just in case it's not obvious, if you come to the bottom of your form, this blue button here where it says send form, you can then change what you like within here in terms of who receives the email. As I said, it might be a new class, a year 9 class as opposed to year 8 class. Maybe there's new students who arrived late on. You can add their names into there. Sort of a brand new group of people who can answer these questions for you. Finally, I could be done with this form. I don't want anybody to have any more responses to come back from it. And the way we do that is simply by clicking on this button up here at the top of the screen called Accepting Responses. If you click on that, you'll see that now it's not accepting responses. This will be the message that they will receive should they click on that or try to contact you by mistake through this form. They'll be prevented from doing so. Let's check that out by clicking on the View Live Form. And you'll see that this is the message that students or other staff would get. This is the message that you will get because you are the form editor, which means that if you click on it, then you can resume collecting responses. Alternatively, if you want to collect responses from within here, all you need to do is re-click that button, and now we're accepting responses once again. It's always a good idea to turn off responses instead of outright deleting a survey, as you never know when you're going to need it again. Put all that time and all that effort into creating it, keep it around in case you always want to use it again. That's it for forms. I'm sure there is more to it, but that's the basics. Hope it's been of use. See you next time.